Referencing cells. What a boring title. What's that all about? Well, think of a library. Remember those? Now think of the books in the library. Remember those? Do you remember these? If you're not old enough, probably not, because they no longer exist. They were individual cards in a long drawer, and you could thumb through them by title or by author or by subject to find an index card of where you could find a book on the shelf. Today, this is all computerized, which is great, because sometimes cards went missing or were messed up. Now you may ask what this shredded piece of parchment has to do with referencing cells. Well, just like a card isn't the actual book, it points to the book. Similarly, referencing a cell isn't the actual cell, but just a reference to it. There is some nice looking data in cell A1. We want to have a copy of it in cell F1. However, instead of copying and pasting it, we'll create a reference to it. First type an equal sign in cell F1, then click on cell A1. Then press Enter or click the checkbox. When you do this, the contents of the cell F1 now has what was in A1. Though the cell says this is the real data, look at the formula bar. It says equals A1. If you change what's in A1, it will change what's in F1. This seems like such a boring reference. What else can you do with references? Let's say I want to total A3 and B3 and put the results in F3. First I type equals A3. Now I want to add, so I type a plus. Then I type B3. See how both cells A3 and B3 are highlighted? Then press Enter to see the results. You can reference one or more cells from another cell in the same worksheet. You can also reference cells from another worksheet. Here I am on sheet 2. First type a plus, then click on worksheet 1. Click on A1 and press Enter. You can see how it's referencing sheet 1 followed by an exclamation mark in the cell A1. If you need the same formula again and again, it would be a real pain to type a bunch of formulas. But Excel assists you with copying forwards your references. Easier to show than tell. First we have our standard formula. Copy it and paste it forwards. I'm doing this with the mouse in order to show you the process. However, normally I use Control-C for copy and Control-V for paste. As you see, Excel automatically adjusts the cell references forwards as you copy down. This is also done when copying across. Now you don't always want to do this. Sometimes you want the same cell to be always referenced. In this rather contrived example, we want to calculate the number of months in a specific number of days. First we create our formula to determine the average number of days in a month. This we do by dividing 365 days by 12 months. Now we type our formula next to 365 days, which is A2 divided by F1. The result is 12 months. Perfect. Now copy the formula down. And there's a divided by 0 error. You can see it copied forward A2 as A3 and F1 as F2. However, we really want it to point to F1 for our formulas. You can force this by putting dollar symbols in front of the cell letter and cell number. This tells Excel that this cell has to stay in place. This is called absolute cell reference. What we've been using so far were called relative cell references. This fixes the issue. Now, I typed it to correct this. However, you can click on a cell in the formula bar and press F4. The first time it puts dollar signs in front of both the letter and number. Toggling through it takes you from relative references to mixed references to absolute references. Finally, it cycles back to the relative reference. Well, now you know what the reference desk does at the library.